Welcome back to Steam Family Outdoors. Today we're going to do an overview on a custom built rifle in the 358 Norma Magnum. We did a video on Steam Family Outdoors going over the 358 Norma Magnum cartridge, kind of what it can provide for you and why I was interested personally as an Iowa resident to use that cartridge for deer hunting this year. But the cartridge has a ton of flexibility and there's not a lot of commercial rifle availability on the 358 Norma Magnum. So this video, we're going to go over a custom build I had done on the 358 Norma Magnum. I'm going to walk through the choices that I made, and this is also if you're looking at getting a custom rifle built yourself. These choices kind of remain consistent across how you look at putting a rifle together. So really there's three choices on the rifle, and then eventually the optics or the sight mechanism. So you have the stock that you choose to put the rifle in, there is the action, and then finally the barrel. And you might hear things lock, stock, and barrel. So the lock is the action, stock being the rifle stock, and the barrel itself. So starting out with the lock or the action, this is really the foundation of the rifle. And for me, in this rifle, I used a Winchester Model 70 action. So this action started life as a New Haven manufactured Winchester Model 70 stainless rifle in 300 Winchester Magnum. So it was already a Magnum action for standard length cartridges, so standard lengths would be that 3.340 inches. So it really would port over well to a 358 Norma Magnum as far as the action, the feeding, the bolt face, really well set up for that cartridge. But why use the Winchester Model 70? You have a lot of Remington 700s, very popular action to build on. Savage is a popular action that you can build a custom rifle on. And then there's a pile of manufacturers who make actions specifically for custom rifles. The reason I went with the Model 70 on this rifle, first, I'm a huge fan of 3-position safeties, especially on a rifle that's going to be used for hunting, potentially in thick brush. Having something that locks the bolt closed is just a peace of mind thing for me. Another reason, and I'll show you in the camera, is the extractor. So the extractor goes along the bolt and in front of the bolt face. So this extractor it's control round feed. So in that, the whole mechanism, the rifle itself is control round feed. So it'll pick the cartridge up and carry it and control it all the way to the chamber. And then with that extractor, actually claws behind the rim of the case, pulls it back, and there's a mechanical ejector in Winchester actions to positively, it will throw the cartridge clear of the chamber. Again, that's a configuration that dates back to Paul Mauser and the original Mauser designs, and is very popular in dangerous game type rifles, and just something that I've grown to really like how the Model 70 action works, and have a few different rifles built on the Model 70 from Winchester. So that's where I started out with the action. Let's go into the barrel. So barrel is where a lot of choices will come in on a rifle. You want a barrel with enough contour that you can have the bore diameter you want. So the larger bore diameter that you have, you need to get a thicker barrel profile to bore your cartridge in. So this barrel comes from Leisha. It is a number 3 contour. I probably butchered that pronunciation, Leisha. Barrels, but it's their number 3 contour. And this is actually trimmed to 22 inches. And that's probably a decision point that this rifle will be different from a lot of other 358 Norma Magnums. A lot of 358 Norma Magnums and Magnums that are based on the 375 H&H tend to go to 26 inches, and sometimes you'll see 24. So going to 22 is a significant cut back, and you will give up some velocity by doing that. Probably in the neighborhood of 15 to 25 feet per second per inch you cut back. So we're probably losing anywhere from 60 to 100 feet per second to get this back to 22 inches. But the pros of going to 22 inches is having a handier rifle. If you're going through brush, if it's on a sling, it sits a little bit lower. If you're in a blind, it's a little bit easier to maneuver within the blind. And just an overall more compact package. There is a potential for muzzle blast, and you'll see my barrel on this is not chambered for muzzle brake. I'm not a fan of muzzle brakes or muzzle devices. Just wanted a really clean hunting rifle. So that's where the barrel decision for me was to get to 22 inches for how I'm going to use this rifle and the situations that I may hunt with it someday could provide. So we go over the lock, or the action, is a Model 70, 22 inch number 3 contour barrel, and number 3 just relates to the how much thickness is in that barrel as it goes from the action chamber and then the taper of the barrel itself. And the final decision is the stock. So this stock is a Macmillan stock, and Macmillan Winchester Super Grade pattern. So it's inletted for the Winchester Model 70. I put the custom order in, it's inletted for the barrel, and the color pattern is molded in. So this is a fiberglass stock. The molded in color that you can see here as I kind of pan over the rifle really shows what they can do from a design side. So it still gives the aesthetics of being a walnut stock rifle that's really catches the eye and is aesthetically pleasing for me, but still incredibly functional, really durable. And the red recoil pad's kind of a nod back to classic Winchester Model 70 super grade rifles. The final one on this being that I've got lock, stock, barrel, bottom metal. We're using a one-piece aluminum bottom metal that comes from PTG. The trigger is our standard Winchester Model 70 trigger. This is the original, so this would be pre-MOA trigger. So this is the classic Model 70 trigger, and my gunsmith who built this, which would be Satterlee Arms, has this tuned into 3-pound trigger pull, which is kind of my preferred trigger pull for general hunting situations. And another thing to love about the Winchester Model 70 is it does have a fantastic factory trigger that comes with it. So those are the main choices on this rifle. Final one being sights. And for sights, going with the 2 approach, you can probably see on the barrel itself, we do have iron sights. So we're using iron sights from New England Custom Games. So these are iron sights from New England Custom Games. Just really simple V-notch in the front to use. And then as we follow through to the end of the barrel, we have a single fiber optic post with a hood. So again, for dangerous game scenarios and sights, I like to have backup iron sights. If this gun does pull double duty, it'll be nice to have. Likely not going to use that situation for Iowa deer hunting, but this rifle definitely has the and cartridge are set up really well to pull double duty for perhaps an Alaskan hunt down the road. And from an optic choice, this is the optic I'm choosing to put on the rifle for the general scope use. This is a Night Force NXS 2.5 to 10 by 32. So this is a discontinued model. They've changed it to a 42 millimeter front objective, and this is mounted in worn QD rings. So with the worn QD rings, there's thumb screws on the side, and I'll go ahead and turn the rifle so you can see those thumb screws on the side. But it allows the scope to be removed from the rifle. So, in that situation where we might need iron sights, the scope can be detached quickly, and you can see the levers on the scope on the side. So allows us to take that scope on and off. The 32 mil objective lets us mount it low to the rifle, so I can use low rings, really quick scope to pull up, and 10 power zoom is plenty for me for hunting. I'll go on my little aside. I think most rifles tend to be very over-scoped for what they do, especially hunting rifles. A 10x hunting rifle scope should have no issue going out to 500, 600, even 700 yards on game if the rifle and cartridge are set up to shoot that far. From the previous video when I talk over the 358 Norma Magnum ballistics, I really think this is going to be a solid out to 500 yards. So think about logically as I say that 10x zoom at 500 yards is the equivalent of using a 1 power scope at 50 yards. And on deer size game, most competent shooters should have no issue with 1 power at 50 yards. So you should have really no issue with 10 power out to 500. So this wraps up kind of a quick overview of a custom rifle, what I have in this one, how it's set up. The stock's from Macmillan. This is their McWalnut pattern. sorry, this is their this is their McWalnut pattern on the McMillan stock. The barrel, stainless barrel from Lyja with a Winchester Model 70 stainless action. They're Cerakoted matte black, aluminum trigger guard, and one-piece bottom metal from PTG, also Cerakoted black. And finally, you got worn QD rings and bases on a Night Force NXS 2.5 to 10 by 32 scope, and our New England Custom Games iron sights. If you have any thoughts on the video, have any questions on the 358 Norma Magnum or the custom rifle we have built here, put comments below. If you like the video, please click like, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what other content you want to see. If you like the custom rifle overview, let me know too. We can go over some more of those in the future and some of the decisions I made on that side. So again, till next time, get out there and enjoy the outdoors.